So good morning, everyone. Jodie Siemens from Taking Perspective. And today's webinar is all about burnout and the signs. So what's up for discussion this week is what is burnout, some signs and symptoms around burnout, the causes of burnout, and how can we regain some balance back in our life. So the first one we're going to discuss is what is burnout itself. So burnout is pretty much a state of complete mental, physical and emotional exhaustion. So not a place that we want to be in. This is pretty much where you've got yourself at the end of the line. So if you're experiencing burnout, you may notice that you have difficulty in engaging in activities that you would normally find quite meaningful and fulfilling. So you may no longer also care about certain things. Things no longer are as important to you, and you might actually start to feel a sense of hopelessness. So again, burnout is that state where you are in complete mental, physical and emotional exhaustion. So some of the signs that you will find around burnout, ideally, learning how to identify burnout and promote the awareness around this common condition is really what this is about, this webinar. I've had a fair few clients come to me with burnout being an issue, and we really need to sort of stop and lean into the signs before we get that far. So identifying it correctly is a way of teaching you to prevent it from happening in the future, because once you're in a state of burnout, it's not something that's a quick fix. It is 100% fixable, and you can certainly turn yourself around, but it just takes a lot longer than it normally would, because as I said, you're working with not just an emotional exhaustion, you're working with a mental exhaustion, you're working with a physical exhaustion. So what makes identifying burnout difficult is the fact that everybody experiences stress in their own unique way. So burnout is high levels of stress, but with saying that, knowing how to recover from the burnout starts with having informed recognition. So really understanding what the signs and symptoms are and knowing what steps to take. And if at any stage you are at the point of complete overwhelm, I would suggest you seek professional help, because burnout is quite debilitating. So the three areas that we're going to look at in regards to the symptoms are our physical symptoms, our emotional symptoms, and our behavioural signs. So the first one we're going to start with are our physical symptoms. So these can range from all different things to headaches, stomach aches with intestinal issues. For those of you with that school of thought, our tummy is a place where we hold our emotions. So often we can get intestinal issues in that area. You suffer from fatigue, frequent illness and changes in appetite and sleep. So whether you lose appetite or gain appetite, and it's usually a lack of sleep, like insomnia, they're not so much sleeping more. So some of the emotional signs that you might find yourself having emotional symptoms are helplessness. You might find yourself become quite cynical. You start to sense of failure, have a sense of failure or self-doubt, decreased satisfaction in pretty much all aspects of your life. You feel detached and alone in the world. You no longer feel like you have your tribe around you supporting you, and it's a complete lack of motivation. So there's a lot of procrastination that goes on, and that spiral effect of mental fitness right there. The next one is behavioural signs. So you may find you are not performing as well in your everyday tasks. You may find that you withdraw or even isolate from friends, family, occasions where you just find that you don't want to go. Again, there's procrastination. That's a big one in regards to one's mental fitness. outbursts. So you may find that your level of say compassion or ability to I suppose, you know, we could say the term put up with things, your resilience is certainly shortened greatly. You may find yourself even using substances to cope, whether you find that it's anything from a herbal tea to prescribed to non-prescribed substances. So it's really not a healthy place to be in. So the causes of burnout, it's not usually just solely caused by a stressful work environment or too many responsibilities. It can be really someone who's just had a prolonged level of chronic stress and pressure, whether that be at home or at work. So it's not just solely about the here and now. This could be something that has been coming on for years, due to home demands or work demands. So what factors that contribute to burnout? Some of these, I've got a few that I'm going to read through. So we're going to start with work-related causes. So having or little, not having any control or having very little control over the work that you do, having a lack of recognition in the workplace, an overly demanding job expectation, unchallenging work, monotonous work, or just being generally in a chaotic and quite a high pressure environment. The next one I'm going to look into is lifestyle causes that contribute to burnout. And some of the lifestyle causes could be that you're working too much without finding something that, you know, you do, whether you're a hiker, so, you know, something relaxing, something about you, meeting a friend for coffee. So it's really going back to that isolation and not socializing or even finding a place where you can relax. The next one I've got is a lack of loss or supportive relationships. So that also comes down to potentially you withdrawing from society, withdrawing from family. So you tend to close yourself off, build walls around yourself. So that's one way that we start to lack those close relationships, and sometimes we just don't have the support around us. And if that is the case, again, I urge you to seek some professional help. Another lifestyle cause could be that you have taken on too many responsibilities without having enough help yourself. I'm an advocate for the term no, and I don't say no because I genuinely, you know, don't want to help someone. It's really about knowing my own capabilities, my own timeframes, and my own ability to get what I need to get done. And the next one is not enough sleep. So we talked about insomnia earlier as a lifestyle cause. The next one we got is personality traits. So perfectionists. I have done a webinar on perfectionism. You can find that on my YouTube channel. Perfectionism is someone who has some unrealistic expectations of themselves that could be brought on through external and internal dialogues. Also, they become quite pessimistic view of themselves and of the world. They need to be in control, so they're not able to let go of situations. So if you're finding that any of these things are ringing true for you, please reach out. They tend to have a high achieving nature, which isn't a bad thing by any means. It's motivation. But these are just some of the traits that people who tend to suffer from burnout tend to have themselves. So here we're at how do we regain some balance back in our lives? So getting directly into it, really, it's a time to pause and change direction. You really need to start learning how to help yourself overcome the burnout. You can see as many professionals as, are on a list of paper, how long's a piece of string. But ideally, you really need to take control of the situation and stop yourself from taking on too much. So if you recognize some of the warning signs and they start creeping into your life, or they may already be present, again, please reach out. Burnout is debilitating and can be hang around for a long period of time if you don't start to deal with this symptoms. So finding ways to regain a sense of well-being. I've listed a few here. Some of these may include turn to people for support. So friends, colleagues, community groups. This is about your social area of your life. And it's about getting back in touch with your tribe and those closest to you, as well as the outer community. Track your stress levels. So understand your triggers, your patterns, and the behaviors that these triggers cause. This is a really important one, because once you have that level of understanding, you will be able to manage the triggers and the patterns and how you react to them certainly better. Reframe the way you look at your work, the way you look at your home life, and start really looking at a way to find some value, find some balance in your life and bring some meaning to it. And this is where you need to start stepping away and do something that you love, whether that be, hiking or going down the beach, or just, nature is a beautiful thing to really bring ourselves back and really ground ourselves. I understand a lot of people aren't nature lovers, so potentially, if sitting down and watching a funny movie is your way of relaxing, then you really need to find the time and the space to do that in your life. The next one I have is reevaluate your priorities by taking time and regular breaks during the day. So this is about taking pause time. There is a way of measuring how you spend your time during the day. A lot of us tend to spend it way too much, either on social media or flicking to and from emails, because we have things pinging at us constantly. And I think when you're sitting there doing a task, especially, turn off all your notifications, put your phone away, do what you need to get done, and then take a break. Because that is really the only way you're going to get through and feel as though you have some organization and some control over what's going on. So here's one: nourishing your creativity by doing something interesting. I've decided I'm going to enroll in a pottery class. There's pottery in a local place not far from me. So yeah, nourish yourself with something creative, something that you enjoy doing. You may be a drawer, for example. You may do scrapbooking, you may knit, who knows, but you really need to nourish yourself with that creativity and something that you love. Make physical activity a priority to boost your mood and your energy. So everyone understands there's enough work out there, there's enough research out there, around how physical activity boosts our mood and energy, those happy endorphins that it creates. It energizes us. The more we do it, the more energetic we feel. So physical activity, and that's why I incorporate the hiking and outdoor activities with nature in with the things that I do to relax, because for me, pardon the pun, but it's like killing two birds with one stone. I love being in nature, and hiking is a physical activity. So support your body with a healthy diet and quality sleep. And that's all about routine. Once you get yourself into a routine, you are able to incorporate time to make sure that you're in a place where you can cook yourself healthy meals and, shop for healthy food so that you have that, the items in the fridge that you can just pull out and quickly make something. Quality sleep is about routine and getting to bed at regular times and really creating a routine about relaxing into that space so that your mind's not overworking and you're actually able to fall asleep. So in summary, as I mentioned, burnout is when we have physical, mental, and psychological exertion. It usually comes from high levels of stress, and this is something that can be over a prolonged period of time, or it can be something that is more recent. It causes levels of fatigue, disconnection, and just being totally worn out. On top of this, it has a massive impact on our physical well-being. Burnout can negatively affect the way we perceive ourselves. So often it causes a reduced sense of accomplishment, and it also can cause a disassociation of personality. The next one I have here is with the rising rates of adults experiencing burnout, it's become increasingly important that you understand the symptoms, you recognize the symptoms, and you can learn how to recover safely from burnout and do this in an effective way. Again, if it's something that's just overwhelming you, reach out to a professional. Recovering from this condition, like burnout, it's not something that happens overnight. And because it is mainly an internal issue, tracking your progress is not always an easy task. So take a few moments each day to nurture your well-being, help yourself be happier, be more resilient, and be the best you can totally be, because you deserve the best you possibly can be. And that brings an end to the webinar itself. So now I'm just going to quickly talk about my free workshop that I am offering on Friday, the 27th of May, 7 till 8 p.m. This will be recorded. I've had a few people reach out. So if you would like a copy of the recording, reach out. You will also get a copy of the workbook. So it's a 1-hour workshop on how to reshape your life. This is about going in depth into how the changes that we want to make. It's about removing some of the limiting beliefs that we hold on ourselves. It's really about creating some strategies to help you be the best version of yourself. Again, this is free. Jump on board. For all those who register, you'll get a workbook. And again, I've decided to record this, as a few people have asked. So yeah, jump on, even just to receive the recording. So that is the offer I've got on the free workshop, 27th of May. That's a Friday, 7 p.m, 1 hour, Melbourne Eastern Standard Time. Okay, so if you're looking for me and you can't find me, or you're trying to refer me to friends, you can find me on Instagram, LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, because we are here. And I also have a podcast with Anchor, Empowering Ordinary Women. So for those who registered today, thank you. For those who are here, thank you. You will also receive a copy of this in your email. Look out for that. Next Friday, what do we have? It is Friday the 27th, next Friday. Time is flying by, and the webinar is on imposter syndrome and what is it. That's a big one. A lot of people suffer from imposter syndrome, so let's get on to that. Register, follow the links. All right. that is the end of today's webinar. This is Jodie Siemens from Taking Perspective, and thank you for joining me.